You good?
Okay. We'll bring this meeting to order. And we did get the minutes from Max from the last two meetings, March 2nd and the April 4th or the April 6th. And did you all read them? I read them ahead of time and went through them.
I didn't get a chance. I was very busy at work today, so I didn't get a chance to read the
Okay.
minutes.
Did you want to read them now or should we just? They look pretty good to me. I didn't see anything I would have a problem with, so we can put off the agreement of the minutes being for the next meeting.
Okay,
I
yeah,
didn't see any changes to be made. I didn't see any corrections or anything.
okay,
They seem pretty good. So when you get a chance, look them over
Yeah.
and then we'll have the vote next time.
yeah, I'll read them over this week.
Okay, I'm just going to go down the list of things that I have and we can expand on some of the areas that we really care about. The town parks flyer. I wanted to ask Max, have you printed any yet?
I have not printed any. When I was doing the minutes, I saw that in the minutes. I was like, oh,
Oh, no.
I know I had to put it online. I just forgot I had to print it too.
Well, online, it looks lovely, but when I try to print it from online, which you may have a better way of doing it, I tried to download it as a PDF and I tried to download it as a doc file. The first page is nice. The back side, the words are back. It's like the words are printed backwards. I never saw anything like this in my life. The words are printed backwards.
Oh, wow.
Look at that.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Some kind
Well,
of,
even the front.
No, the front looked okay.
No,
No, there was something else in the front.
look at the title.
Ah,
Well, I have my PDF anyway. Like, as long as it looks good online, I still have the
right,
PDF.
it looks good online. It's just like, I was like, oh, I'll just print this. And it was like, what? What is it? So yeah, if it looks good on the PDF you have, then you can just put it there. But we were gonna talk about places to bring it, but I think there's no real big rush. I think having it online is a good thing. And maybe what we do is have the Facebook post reference the town website for that particular place for
I
this.
can pin the brochure to the top of the Facebook page, so it's always top of mind when people go.
That would be
see.
cool.
Yeah,
I think that'd be cool. Okay, and then I had the list of places that Steve had given us, and I updated it a little. I'm not ready to go wandering around knocking on doors and bringing things to leave at places yet.
well, a lot of places have gone paperless too because of COVID. I know that for us, we went completely like QR codes and stopped doing everything because nobody wants to touch the
I know.
handhelds. So
Not
I
at this
think I'm
point.
with you that digital is great for now.
Yeah, for now, I think go digital. And there's a number of places like Townie's Market is for sale now. It's not in business anymore.
Yeah.
Long Winter Soap doesn't have retail. Madamic Arts Project, we don't have a built, Harry Cabot is kicking us out. Laura Cabot's gonna get in there, use it as her catering space or something.
Huh.
And he said, give it to Joan Ray for the Midcoast Conservancy. She's with the Coastal Rivers now. And Morris's Sauerkraut isn't open right now. I mean, I think we'll keep the list and keep, that in mind.
Yeah.
And the one thing I could try to do is when we print them is to get them in the kiosk at the river park.
Yeah.
Because that's the place that they'd be most useful
Sure.
at this point. Okay. Dutch Neck, do you guys have any ideas about days that we could go do some work on Dutch Neck or,
So I'm having surgery this Thursday.
oh my goodness. I hope it's nothing
And
serious.
it takes me out for a month from lifting anything over 20 pounds and bending. So I'm out of commission for physical labor for
shouldn't
the
be.
month of May.
Shouldn't be bushwhacking anywhere.
Well, believe me, as soon as I can move, I'm moving. I've got books to repair from the library. I said, you need to keep me busy while I'm down. So I'm going to do that. I'm hoping that I can actually join Will on the cleanup day on May 23rd.
Mhm.
I might be optimistic.
Mhm.
So for my participation anyway, I wouldn't be able to do anything until June. I
Okay.
don't know if that's too late.
It's never too late.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm not sure what the trail at Dutch Neck is left in the condition we left it in last, right?
Yeah.
So,
Liz and her friend said they walked it. It was one of the two trails they walked, and she said it was nice. I mean, she didn't have any. She said the ground was really spongy,
mhm.
but that was due to the weather.
Yeah,
That's
I see that.
nothing. So you know, it was good to hear that they didn't see any major issues with trying to follow the trail.
So when we get there, we get there.
Yep.
Okay.
That sounds okay. If we come up with any days where you say, this is it, let's go, give us a shout out, email us, do something to let us know
Okay.
and see if more than one person can gather. Because Will might be the one person that goes out first. Here's some paint.
Oh, great.
It's, I think there's a gray, a black, or there's a white, a black, and then a couple blues.
Okay.
The white and black is to get rid of the marks that we want to eliminate, and the blue to put the marks that we want.
Okay.
Perfect.
So, and I've got more of the blue paint at home. But if you do have a chance to get out there and do something, that would be good. And I know we talked about in redoing the town forest trail that you wanted to ribbon it first.
Yeah.
Now, do you have the ribbons and stuff like that to work with?
I have a roll of ribbon at home
Okay.
that I can do.
Because I have
I
some
think
too.
it's like pink, so that would stand
Pink
out.
stands out.
Yeah, and there's a blue that shows the borders right now, so that would be good. I think I was walking for the Earth Day challenge, I went out and was looking at things. I'm like, I think there's some really large, beautiful trees that I would love to reroute closer to.
Mhm.
I'm excited about the reroute for that. I really am. And then maybe we can avoid some of those really wet spots.
Right.
We can just reroute around, except for that main drag. We're gonna just have to build new bridges, but
Mhm.
the other ones, it'd just be nice to reroute right around it if we can.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, as long as we keep it on the town property, that was one of the goals too.
yeah. Yeah.
Okay, well, that sounds good. And now I want to talk about the Earth Day plans. Your postings were fantastic. I loved it, and the information, your follow-up information about, you know, how many clicks and how many.
I thought you'd enjoy that. Yeah, I did some analytics. I thought that'd be fun for everyone to see. And it also helps give us an idea of, like I was saying, which properties garnered the most interest, which could help us as we move forward and what we want to
Focus.
keep the momentum and focus on.
Mhm.
So we got 88 page views and 30 new page likes, which I thought was great, an increase of 25%. And then we reached 3,150 people. So it's, you know, it showed up in somebody's feed or they scrolled through it, which I thought was good. And then 1,241 overall post engagements.
Mhm.
I was surprised. I kind of, in my mind, I thought Waldeboro River Park and Dutch Neck Marine Park were going to be the top. And I was really surprised it was Quarry Hill, actually, that was the most popular.
Mhm.
So Quarry Hill, Waldeboro Town Forest, I mean, I'm very happy with actually how much I love it. So
Yeah.
it's great that other people are really interested in it.
Mhm.
Pine Street Landing, which I went down and enjoyed. I don't spend a lot of time down there, and it's quite a beautiful area.
Yeah, I think a lot of people recognize it. They know it well. You know, it's so visible everywhere in town.
Yep.
And it's just a nice, and they fixed it up with the picnic tables and
The
all.
picnic tables are so great. I took a picture of them and I added them into Google because that was like the one thing in all the pictures you couldn't see the picnic tables. So
Yeah,
um,
excellent.
Waldeboro River Park and then Fifth Dutch Neck Marine Park, which I was so surprised about with those ocean view pictures, but the internet speaks. So
And Dutch Neck Marine is off the beaten path a little
Yeah.
bit more so where, like the town landing, I mean, that's so right in the heart of the downtown.
I know, I think it goes back to that. I would love to see some, as we have time, additional trails down at Dutch Neck Marine Park so it becomes a destination.
Mhm.
And like I said on the kind of in the email and on the next page here, for the address in Google, it just says Dutch Neck Boat Ramp,
Mhm.
and I've suggested to Google to change it to Dutch Neck
Yeah, I saw that.
Marine Park and Boat Ramp, and I added some pictures of the park side of it. So hopefully that will help. I got the Instagram up and going. I got the two of them linked. So our Instagram handle is @conserve_Waldeboro.
Mhm.
We got 19 new followers. You know, the engagement was quiet. It takes a lot to get into Instagram's algorithm. So you start generating on people's feeds,
Mhm.
and that just comes with consistent posting and correct hashtags, and which I'm working that out. So
You
hopefully,
know way more about it than I do.
so, hopefully we'll get there. And what's that? Okay.
Oh, there he is.
Sorry.
Hey, Steve.
How you doing?
Pretty good. We're talking about the Earth Day event that Leslie was working on, and
Oh, yeah, I gotta tell you, I'm self-taught with social media management.
Yep.
And marketing, but your social media game is like next level.
Yeah,
Really great
I
stuff.
agree.
Thanks, Steve. I'm happy to utilize it for the committee. So that's why I was just kind of going over there. Putting up we went over the top 5.
You got the, right there,
Oh, yeah, I printed it
on the
out.
second page.
We went through the top 5 properties. We just went through Instagram. So I was telling her, the likes were, or telling them the likes were kind of quiet on Instagram, but the page just started and it takes a little bit to get into the algorithm.
Yeah.
And so with consistent posting and hashtags, I'm going to get us boosted. I'm determined.
Cool.
And just to let you know, everything you posted, I couldn't keep up with you when trying to share it because I was trying to share it to the farmer's market because we still have a page there.
Yeah,
And I was trying to share it to a Madomic Arts.
I saw you did that. Thank
And I
you.
did as much sharing, but I couldn't keep up with you. You
I
were-
appreciate it.
You were.
Oh, did you get on
You were on
Midcoast
fire.
message board?
Someone has to share it over to there. So if you,
But no, I mean, are you a member?
no,
Oh, okay.
no,
So we could get it over there.
Yeah, we can
Yeah.
get it over there.
yeah.
What's the Facebook group?
Midcoast message board, they have like 25,000 members.
I almost wonder if I'm part of that or not.
I
Part of
think,
one of the Midcoast groups.
I think a couple times we got shared over to like the Enhanced Waldeboro page.
Yeah.
I was really pleased to see just, people I'd never seen before engage with us, engage and share the trails.
Mm-hmm.
It was everything I was kind of hoping it would be in terms of the virtual connection. So I'm really thrilled about that. And then the local feedback I was telling them, Liza Keene, the librarian at Waldeboro Library, told me on Saturday her and her friend tried 2 new trails they'd never tried before.
Oh, yeah, I read that.
She relayed to me, which was really helpful to I said, it was Dutch Neck and Waldeboro Town Forest. And she said, me putting the maps up so they could see it and the terrain when I was saying, it's all levels or she's like, it helped us determine what ones we would feel comfortable doing.
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
So I'll continue to work on GPS mapping for all the trails.
Oh, that helps.
Yeah, and it warmed my heart when she said that. I'm like, thank you so much. It's just so nice to hear some local feedback. When we were at the cleanup,
Mhm.
they were talking about it, and so that was exciting. And then the 2 volunteers that reached out to you, Karen, that want to help us with the reroute, that was so exciting.
Mhm.
And then one person, Rachel Morris, is very interested in joining us
Oh, yeah.
as a
Rachel.
committee member. Yeah.
Yeah.
Her
Nice.
work schedule, she texted me last night, she couldn't get out in time to make it to this meeting, but she wants me to keep her in the loop and
Mhm.
hopefully she can plan to join us for the next one. So
That's
She works at
excellent.
Moose.
she works at Moose Crossing and Rising Tide.
Oh, I didn't know.
I've seen her, yeah.
I've
First,
heard the name, but I can't picture her, but I've probably run across her somewhere.
She's wonderful. She used
Yeah.
to do photography for Mexicali. She's very, very outdoorsy, and so is her husband. They love to hike and walk, and they're very excited about
she's
the-
nicely snarky.
Oh, good. I like
The
that.
first,
We
the
like
first time I met her was actually jury duty a couple of years ago over in Tamaraska, or Wiscasset.
So just some of my personal conclusions, looking everything over the analytics and insights, was that and now we kind of know what we want to hone in on and continue to focus more attention on. Like, I'd love to talk about the history of the hemlocks. And I think there's a lot of really neat things we can do within the properties, Quarry Hill.
Mhm.
And then I also sort of felt like the challenge didn't garner enough interest in volunteering to launch the full Adopt a Park program, because the whole goal is that we'll get people to watch these. So my suggestion was, in the interim, we maybe divide the properties amongst ourselves and kind of be individual steward. I live down in town and I could take a couple parks and on Sunday, I went to every one of them in town. It doesn't take very much, and cleaned up. So, and then hopefully with this, with us keeping the ball rolling and generating more interest, we'll get to the point where we'll just know, hey, this is the time to launch the Adopt a Park and get people
Mhm.
signed up.
I think that's a good observation. I think the reason the Adopt a Park program hasn't really been launched all this time is because we really want it to take off when we do it. We
Yeah.
want people to sign it up and participate, and you can admit the garden club, it's like you get the same people doing the same things all the time. It's
Yeah.
until we get something going that would get some new interest, or some people that, and again, part of it, they have to have time,
Yeah.
they have to be outdoorsy, not afraid of ticks and things like
You've
that.
got to kind of ease them into it too. Like, I got one of my friends to go walking with me, and they're like, oh, it took us 20 minutes to do the loop, and I did a little bit of cleanup, and that's all it takes, is just some
Right.
I think sometimes when you say volunteer, come help us, it's just,
Right.
people
Or if you
feel
say
like they're gonna-
hiking, they think, oh my God, we're gonna be gone for hours. And it's like,
yeah, no.
not these trails.
Yeah, if you have an hour of your day.
These trails.
So,
Oh, speaking of, mentioned the history of the Hemlocks. Janet McMahon, right?
Yep,
Yeah, she was the original person that did the study on that. I think.
right.
She's
She's
head
an
of the
ecologist.
Waldo
locally.
Theater thing.
okay,
So, yeah. if you
I'll
can
check
get
in
it-
with her and see what information she
Yeah,
can share.
she's got a lot of info on that.
Those trees are just, I took a picture of my dog next to it for scale. And it's just, when you stand under them, they're so massive and they're so beautiful. And you just think of the
Majestic.
history.
Yeah.
And I want to instill that passion in more people in the community.
And
Oh,
her
she-
little write-up said that these hemlocks lived to be 400 years old, and these were, at the time she did that study just about 5 years ago or 10 years ago, they were about 200 years old, so they're in their midlife
Wow.
Right.
of,
She might also have a lot of good information on the woolly agilid,
Willie Delgid, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
whatever it is. Yeah.
Yep.
So also I started creating Google Map locations. I create them for the following spots. So Quarry Hill Preserve now has an address, so you can get, you can put it in your GPS and get directions. The Dutch Neck Marine Park, which we already talked about, existed, so I've just suggested the edit to Google. And I put the Waldeboro Village River Park in because it didn't have
Good.
one. And I got pictures up on all of those. I added new pictures to the Waldeboro Forest and to Pine Street Landing. I just thought it was just exciting to see them there on
I love
Google. So I took a little screenshot for you to see what it looks like. And then just some things, Will and I, because we were cleaning up together a couple weeks ago, and we, you're like, hey, this would be a cool idea. This would be, and we were really inspired by Quarry Hill Preserve.
Mhm.
When we were up there cleaning, there's so much acreage up there, and it's
There
woods
is.
and blueberry tree. It has a little bit of everything.
Yep.
Um,
And it's connected to the Founders Preserve. That's
yeah, and
which
we
is
were really
awesome.
interested in creating some additional trail systems, or I don't know, and maybe you have a better gauge. I don't know how the snow crawlers feel, connecting with them to see if we can access any of their trails.
Well, they don't have a problem with that at all. A lot of it, like this property is town-owned. So as far as us working together to make new
Yeah.
trails and to use their trails, it's town-owned, so there's no problem. On some of the areas where they have trails and it's private landowner trails, they don't want summer foot traffic,
Yeah,
and they don't want bikes, and they don't want, that in the wintertime when there's snow, when it's hard packed, it doesn't bother the land at all. But any other time of year, it could be a problem
Yeah,
for
right now
private
it's-
property, but this is not private property.
it's really
so-
wet. Well, and they, who was it that was telling me? Justin Hills was telling me about the Waldeboro Totem. And so I walked out to that on Sunday, and that was it was 1.2 miles out from the Quarry Hill kiosk and back. And I'm like, well, there's another little trail we could advertise. I didn't want to step on the snow crawlers' toes if they were interested in advertising and sharing any of the trails.
Oh, I think they'd be happy to.
So, and then there's 3 trails from the totem and I don't know where they all go. I walked down one a little ways, and it was really muddy.
Mhm.
But on top of that, we were talking about how you could do trails along, the blueberry, around the edges of the blueberry fields. And if we got some of that ready for the fall blueberry event, that would be really fun.
Mhm.
And even from the kiosk, instead of going down the road to Quarry Hill, we could do a trail through the woods that connected into the loop
To the
around
loop,
Quarry
yeah.
Hill.
Mhm. Yeah, that
There's
would be
just
nice.
so much. It's just a gorgeous piece of land.
Mhm.
And
I remember, sorry if I'm cutting you.
no, go ahead.
I remember I think it was the very first year I was here, we were applying for a recreational trail program grant for Quarry Hill. I think we were gonna have like a parking area right across the street from the quarry. There was gonna be some new permanent trail systems that would go around the quarry as well as throughout the property.
Yeah.
We didn't get it, and I think one of the problems was that because it was the easement on the property, the land trust at the time had to approve it, and they didn't want to approve the parking area.
Yeah.
So we weren't able to really apply at that time, but
I
I
see.
think.
Mhm. There's a lot of opportunity for things up there, and now with the Founders Preserve, I think that gives us another step down to where there could be parking closer to that
Yeah.
trailhead.
Well, we walked too, and we were like, oh, there's potential. There was a couple spots where there's a potential for little parking spot areas, and there is that big field, but Spears leases that from the town. That's a nice level spot, but
But
you know,
even
that's,
that, if you drive even further into that, there's that little corner pocket over there.
yeah,
You know, where the totem pole is, if you were to go north from there, it actually connects to 220.
so that's the one I started going down, and I was like, I think
It
I'm connects
connects-
to 220.
Yeah, it's a snowmobile trail. It connects all the way to
Yeah.
220 and it goes to Tony Lash's house.
Yeah,
Oh, geez.
yes, it was just really neat and kind of got me more excited. I was like, I want to get some GPS maps and trails and,
Yeah, we also talked one time about having the Conservation Commission develop a recreational plan for Quarry Hill.
yeah,
And maybe say, okay, this is the area for mountain bikes, this is the area for snowshoes, this is the area for, and again, show the snowmobile trails,
yeah.
but have different areas, and then this is the area for the blueberry harvesting, and
Well, that's
have
what
different kinds of
we,
recreation in mind.
we were saying that we're like, this could be Waldeboro's Dodge Point or Jefferson's Hidden Valley Nature Center. There's enough acreage there that you could
There
really
is.
do some great things. And then that when we increase the volume of people going there, it solves our issue with all the littering and
Mhm.
the pollution that we've been struggling. And there's all kinds of new spray paint images up over on the rocks.
Oh,
And
really? Somebody's been,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
so so we need to get more people up there
Right.
frequently.
Mhm.
I'm going to start the preliminary planning of the blueberry picking event. So probably next meeting, I'll have a nice draft for you guys to start looking over.
Mhm.
And then we were up there talking about who's going to burn the blueberries now. And William had the great idea that maybe we could talk to the Waldeboro Fire Department. 'Cause
They
they're
probably love a practice
So
session of
that's what I
some
was
sort.
thinking, yeah.
yeah.
It's a great opportunity for them. It would serve
Yeah.
two purposes. So.
And it keeps the blueberries, so that they're prolific.
Yeah,
And if
because
you-
it needs it. I mean, it's getting kind of scrubby.
Yeah, and it gets rid of the weeds and everything that
Yeah.
are there.
The left side of it was pretty scrubby and bushes. And so we're like, well, if they burnt this side, even if they were interested in doing it as early as this year, we still have that whole right side where we can do an event. And if we alternate every other year,
That makes
we
sense.
could still have an annual
So we
event.
could always have a harvest every year.
Mhm.
Um,
I'm gonna go see if the chief's here, actually.
Okay. And then, in addition to that, I got walking and I was like, it would be really neat because we want the younger generations to be the ones that start really caring
Yes.
and feeling ownership for this property. And so I'd love to create kind of a passport, like a trail and parks passport.
Mhm.
Oh, I love that idea.
Yeah.
I read that.
Yeah. And whether it's on the kiosk or we put something halfway out in the trails so that way they have to walk the trails to find it, whether it's a question, a true or false, or draw a picture of this tree or something. They've got to fill out this whole passport. I figured we could have the passports here at the town office and we could maybe put on our page that, they could email planning and we could mail one out, whatever.
Mhm.
And then once they finish it all, they submit it to us and then we'll send them,
Mhm.
we can determine what it is, but I have all kinds of Waldeboro heirloom seeds. I could start a seedling for somebody, or we could give them a little tree or
And one of the other
something.
things that they did with geocaching, we did with the kids, the Land Trust had that thing where we had a little hidden box. And when they got to the end of this, it was actually poetry
Yeah,
that would lead them through the trail. They get to the end and a sealed box, like a Rubbermaid container that had a stamp and an ink pad.
yeah,
And they'd get a little stamp, and each trail had a different theme for the stamp.
yeah.
And, that's just fun stuff for kids.
I love geocaching. We could do we could do a geocaching series too. So we could have a couple different ways to connect to them.
Yeah, real simple for the little kids, and then something a little more advanced for the adults.
And I just wanted to run it by you before I got too excited and started like drawing out and creating. I can create a little
Oh, I want you
passport.
to take over this conservation.
Yeah, go right ahead.
So I'll get something kind of little draft idea put together for you guys. I'll spend some more time on it. I'm kind of excited about that. I think
Yeah.
the kids will like
That could
it.
be as simple as, a paper, just folded in a special little way.
Yeah.
And
Well, you could get just that thicker, just a thicker version of the paper, and I can fold it, and
like,
I can create one, and we can
Poster
just make copies of multiples of them. So I'll work on developing that, and then we've
I'm
already
glad you're so creative.
Yeah.
We already talked about the town forest concern. And then the other, Will had this great idea is we were talking about the plaques that historical societies put around town, and he suggested we collaborate with them
Mhm.
and see if they're interested in doing any, like at Quarry Hill or the town forest. Like, I love that idea.
Even Dutch Neck, there's history
Dutch
in all
Neck,
these
yeah.
places.
All of them, the Gould
There's history
Trail.
about when the ships were being built. There's history about different things. I mean, there were brickyards at some of these places where they would put ballast into the ships after they built them. And I mean, there's all kinds of interesting history, and they would know about it. They would really
Yeah,
be able
that's what I
to.
was thinking. They're doing that around town. I mean, they did with the Reed Mansion, and they have a new one for the Sproul Block, and
Mhm.
it'd just be neat to keep that theme going to all the historical sites in Waldoboro. And
And why not the parks?
Yeah, yeah, that would be really cool.
Great ideas, great ideas.
And then I included a picture of the Waldoboro totem and then the trail map because I'm probably gonna post that on Facebook this week, but I just wanted to show you guys before I did.
Mhm.
There's a nice little trail and I just followed the dirt road out and back, so it's a nice level
Simple.
walk.
Yeah, real simple.
And then that's all I got.
That's good. That's, don't do it too much more too fast. You get my head spinning. That's wonderful. So that's good. And that will lead us to the blueberry situation that we, and again, that gives us some time. And by then, hopefully, people won't mind getting together. We'll have more people vaccinated.
Yeah.
And again, you're still spread out in the field there.
Well,
And
that's the
people can
thing,
come in their own
there's
time.
so much space, and even if we
Mhm.
could get, I mean, like, I know I have a couple of lawn chairs, and if we got chairs or a picnic table up there or something to spread people out,
Mhm.
we could have a couple stations where they could pick up the blueberry boxes, or, I don't know, we could, I'll develop some kind of draft
Mhm.
based on, respecting COVID distancing, social distancing,
Right.
and all of
And even
that.
if we could provide something as simple as pails, like the pails you take to the beach, the little kids'
Yeah,
plastic
Dang.
pail that they could put the blueberries in.
yeah, and I'd love to get some kind of educational sessions or somebody talking about the blueberry. I don't know. My mind could go in 1,000 different directions about all the things we
I
could
believe
do.
it.
Blueberry recipes, like on the table for when they take the blueberries. But
Yeah, my brain used to work that fast.
Somehow we've slowed down, right, Steve?
Oh, yeah, every part of me is slowed down.
All right, well, that sounds good. And we'll wait to get more information from Joan about the town forest and the woolly adulgid problem, because we do want to maintain that. She has, again, Julie was in here earlier, and she said Joan has already contacted the state forester. I don't know if it's Morton Waswild now or if it's somebody else. It was Morton for a while, and she's got hold of the state entomologist.
Oh, okay,
So she's following up on that situation.
cool.
And she said there was woolly adulgid in the Hemlock Grove. I know. So she'll get back to us on that. And now we have her email address,
yeah, I shared,
this document.
over with her.
I thought that would be good, even though it's not just about the town forest. It's kind of letting her know that there's momentum and that there's things going, because she used to come to all our meetings when she was with the land trust.
Yeah.
And she was part of the moving force that made things happen in our group.
Yeah.
And then when we went down to 2 members, it kind of sparse as to what we could do.
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess you could work on whatever the town forest trail, whatever schedule that you want to work with, obviously after your surgery and things of that nature. But again, I don't think there's any deadlines about making these things happen. I think if we get a bunch of these things to happen this year, this season,
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, I included in the Facebook post, you just saw that little asterisk,
Mhm.
that it will be rerouted, so people can kind of get in their minds, they're not surprised when they see us changing it up a little bit.
But then I think that's true, that's true, the Dutch Neck Trail, and that's the George Gold Trail may be rerouted, just instead of cutting down some of the blowdown, we may just go around it.
Yeah, yep.
So there's other things that may happen there. So again, I think if we just try to work on these things as we can during the season for the 4 of us, I'd love to get Larry Wellman back on the,
Well, I just saw a post from Larry that he's moving out of town.
oh, really?
Yeah, and I actually think they may already be gone.
Wow.
Yeah, I guess he's been thinking about it for a while, and I
Okay.
forget I forget what he said about where they're going, but down.
Usually we
down-
request a letter of resignation in order to open up the seat for a different person, a different board
I
member.
can give him a tag on Facebook.
Yeah, if he,
Email
if he,
something.
just, send us, I am resigning, I am moving out of town, so I need to resign from the Conservation Commission. Then we can open up the seat
Yeah.
officially and
Yeah.
get somebody else.
Or he could just say, I had to move out of town, or
Yeah, right.
as long as he just acknowledges it in writing, that's.
Okay. I know Rachel and her husband Garvin were both very interested, and Garvin she said, is an avid hiker. So I think if we can reel them in, we'll have some real energy to help with the reroutes and
That sounds
clearing of the
great.
trails. Yeah.
Boy, those names sound so familiar and I can't picture.
It'd be
No, I-
good to have Rachel kind of straddling between the trails and the garden thing too,
Mhm.
because
Absolutely.
she knows her stuff.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be good. And hopefully then we can interest some other people to join the commission and then maybe get more volunteers and slowly build up our workforce.
Yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. And I'm not going to rush to have the Midcoast Conservancy help with the George Gould Trail. That'll be on the back burner, something we know we need to do, but is not a rush. And especially now that there's all this crazy talk about 80 Gray becoming a park and all this other stuff. I hear there's a meeting on the 13th,
Yeah, are you guys aware of that? There's
Yeah.
the hearing on the 13th. Okay.
6 o'clock. The cooperative is giving their presentation at 7 o'clock. The Volunteers of America are giving their presentation. So
Right.
I'll probably have to watch it virtually, but I'll try to keep an eye.
Yeah, they're encouraging it
Yeah, I was
virtually.
about to
Okay.
bring up the form anyways. Yeah, so that's on the 13th, and there's also the Sylvania Forum on the 18th,
oh, I didn't know that.
where we're gonna have someone from the Maine DEP, Max Luke, who's been involved with that project for a while. He's gonna just be there to answer some questions regarding the environmental impact
Mhm.
that I know some people have been very concerned about. And then I'll actually give a quick little presentation on what I'm thinking for the site, but it's not something set in stone. Obviously, it's a brainstorming session, so I'll say my piece and everyone there may say, just turn it into this or turn it into that. And it'll be amended as time goes on.
I'd like to see there was a fisherman's trail by the water on that property that went all the way down to Friendship Street School. And I don't know if it's still passable or not, or if it's still there, but that was a nice little trail right along the water all the way. That'd be a really cool thing to incorporate.
Yeah, part of what I did want was just to keep in mind the setbacks and the shoreline zone. I did want to preserve like the side setbacks. I think that's like 50 or 30 feet
Mhm.
from the property line. That, and then I think 100 feet from the water, I wanted to just have as a trail system, so.
That'd be so cool.
That would be.
It's a nice area. And according to George Seaver, he keeps saying that you can see the remains of an old sunken ship. When on that side of you have to be on that side of the river to look down.
Hmm.
At low tide, you can see the remains of a sunken ship there.
Now, when we're saying sunken ship, are we saying like an actual sunken ship, or is it something he lost that one summer?
He contends that it's a real sunken ship, and he gets excited when you talk about it. And it's like, none of us have ever seen it. You know? So we go, where?
Ooh, doubloons.
But he talks about it. So anyway, all right. The Willie Adelgid thing, or ask Joan Ray to give us update on her expertise. I think what I could do after the meeting too is maybe email Joan and tell her we have, this is what we talked about at the meeting. And can you tell me what your update,
Yeah.
let us know what the update is, and so she could copy it to all of us. Okay, and then the Shellfish Warden cleanup days, there's 2 left, May 23rd, and Will's going to that, and you're hoping to go to that.
Yeah.
And I'll do definitely Saturday, June 5th. And anybody else wants to join can do so. Max, I have a request for you. On the website, it still says that our Conservation Commission meets the 3rd Tuesday of every month at 9 a.m.
I will fix that.
If you could make it the first Tuesday at 5:15, then if we ever get people that want to show up, they'll show up at the right time, the right day. And And I loved the University of Maine.
Oh, yeah,
That you
presentation.
Oh,
Shared. That was
Yeah,
awesome. Those videos, the presentations they did.
I loved the
Yeah,
sidewalk
Max,
one.
I apologize. I haven't had a chance to look at those yet because they wouldn't, I have an old version of
It takes a while
Firefox,
to download.
So I had to download.
That's fine.
The sidewalk and footbridge one, that one, that was really
I
cool.
love that one.
That's exciting.
That's my favorite, the Elm Street footbridge. I
Yeah.
love that one.
I should be getting written final reports from them by the next meeting, and then I can have that distributed, we can talk about that a bit more.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Obviously, don't look at their numbers and fall in love with it, because those numbers are gonna be very low.
Yeah,
And they change. I mean,
And they
for anything that we talk about today, a year from now, 2 years from now, it's going to be different.
yeah.
But I meant that for like, I think the sidewalks, I think they said it was gonna be under $100,000. It's not.
No.
No,
I'd love it if that was the case.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, depends on whether you're using blacktop or cardboard.
Cardboard one. And the whole thing with the culvert and everything, that's going to take quite a bit of
Yeah.
engineering.
yeah, I was wondering about that. Like, my husband asked too, he's like, why did they go under instead of over?
Because it exists.
And I was like,
Because it's
yeah,
already
yeah.
there.
I was like, I think it's just the beginning of a working space and evolving what we've already got there. But
Mhm.
that was really neat, and I liked the suggestions that by the Waldeboro Town Forest, the Park and Go. Actually, the one that was the lowest in cost was my favorite option.
Hmm.
Wait, which one was that?
It was just like adding a little bit more visibility, increasing the island, I think, size, increasing the visibility, and some lighting there, and keeping the park and go. 'Cause they, in their presentation, they said that parking is an issue when people are using the trail and the park and go. I walk the Waldeboro Town Forest frequently, and I've never had an issue getting a parking spot. So that wouldn't be, unless, but I mean, maybe the park and go people struggle with parking there.
I don't
I think-
think it was the best day for them to get there, because it was, like, I remember parking there, and keep in mind, it was me and like their 4 cars, so
Yeah.
kind of got really piled up.
So yeah, when you add that on top of the people who are carpooling to VIW, it probably like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think during the daytime working hours, it's busy there.
Yeah.
But if you're going on weekends and things like that, it's never that busy.
No, it doesn't, there isn't much there, other than
But
litter.
increasing the parking size. And I like the municipal part, well, I call it the municipal parking, but the Worcester's parking thing, I love. It was interesting to see how they developed one plan and then had to change it because of information that they got about the grade. And then they
Yeah.
had, and that was like, oh man, you could have had 30 spots and now you can only have 25.
Yeah, and then I liked their creative. It was cool to see it a couple different ways.
Mhm. But it would be nice just to have that parking area marked.
Yep.
Just to have the spaces marked there would be
Oh, sure.
a step up.
Yeah.
This is the Worcester lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry for not having watched this, but I presume their plan included repaving.
Yes.
Okay.
A lot. And in fact, regrading some of it.
Yeah.
So
And
that it was-
hopefully preserving the flower and crab tree that's in the middle there someplace.
Yeah, they still had the islands of the tree,
Okay, good.
but they also changed the grade so that it would be easier for, handicapped people to walk to street level, to get to the street level.
Oh, that is cool.
Yeah,
I don't think the middle tree was in there.
no,
I don't
Oh.
think it was.
but there's one on the end.
That's a.
Oh,
beau-
the end one, that's preserved. The middle one, that's in the middle of the parking lot, I don't think.
Got
that's-
changed.
yeah,
Okay.
I
That's
think that had to be-
That's too bad, because that's a beautiful tree.
Well, the
That's-
both of them are the same. The one on the sidewalk area and the one that's in the middle are the
I don't
same.
think they're the same color.
I thought so.
I think
Well,
the one,
we'll know
I think
soon
the
enough.
one by the sidewalk.
We'll know
is-
soon.
is
Yeah.
white.
Keep an eye out for the next couple of
Yeah.
weeks. We'll find out.
I'll have to look at my photos from past years, but.
I could be wrong. I thought they were the same. All right, well, that sounds pretty good. So I guess there's really, the only thing to do is to try to stay in touch with each other for updating the trails and the trail work. And you letting us know about the plans for the blueberry
Yeah, I'll
field.
get that ready for the next meeting, the kids' passport and the blueberry kind of rough preliminary planning. And The other thing is, if you do get any good pictures or any good information that I can turn into a nice post for content, feel free to email it over to me, and I'm trying to build a social media calendar for myself. So, Earth Day was a lot because it was an Earth Day challenge.
Mhm.
And now I'm going to try to pull back to like 2 to 3 times a week, depending on what's in season, what's going on, things like that.
Mhm.
And Lady Slippers won't come out for another, few weeks yet?
It'll be a few weeks.
Yeah, I
because
haven't
the
seen
Canadian Mayflower, they're just putting their leaves up.
So I'm looking for Lady Slippers. I was looking for Jack in the Pulpits. I don't know if you've seen any.
I've seen any in the Goose River Trail, the Peace Corps Preserve. I've seen some.
You have
Okay.
seen them already?
And there's Trillium too. Keep an eye out for the Trillium.
I'll keep an eye out for the Trillium. I have not been able to find any Indian ghost pipes. I was like, when you emailed me that, I'm like, I've been looking, Steve, because we have some up in North Waldeboro on our property,
Mhm.
but that's not public. And I did check for it when I walked out to the totem on Sunday. I looked through those woods too,
Mhm.
because that would be a really neat kind
I
of
have them in my
flora fauna.
yard, but I'm not gonna invite everybody over.
I've got a picture of the Forsythia. I have a couple flora fauna posts for this week. I took a picture of the Forsythia down at the rest area. And I got a couple little wildflowers that are up at the quarry. But some of those, yeah, it would be so cool to see
Well,
some
you
lady
can-
slippers on trail.
You can, if you're following the Waldeboro Garden Club page,
Yeah.
you should be able to share those. I mean, if you get those in your news feed, you should be able to share those.
I share, you mean like the Waldeboro Garden posts?
Yeah, the club posts.
I guess I'll keep an eye out. I posted one the other day of the tulips. I shared one over the other day of the tulips.
I saw that, yeah.
I thought it'd be nice to kind of,
Tie the thing together.
yeah, and especially the local stuff that pertains to us and the land and the conservation. And then I just like going out taking pictures, and I like the little identification. Did you see some of those that I did? I took a picture and then a little ditty about
Yep.
Mhm.
the pieces. So.
Yeah,
Well,
made it
you're-
interesting.
Feel free, because your photography is probably a lot better than mine.
Yeah, but I wanted you to know that I'm
Yeah.
always looking for content now that I've got it up and rolling. So if you see anything, or if there's a nice little blurb or piece, or you hear something going on, shoot me an email so I can get it up on the.
So
Well, I'm
flora
gonna
and fauna, so pictures of my turkeys displaying in the yard.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm sure they'd have something to say about it.
I can get pictures of them real easily.
Yeah.
There's a lot of them.
Yeah. I'm going to be starting to, I've already got all the petunias for all of the big flower pots for the landing. I went over last week to Barley Joe's, and got them
Yeah.
there because they grew them for us. And I'm probably going to start planting those this week, and I should have them out by the 24th.
Oh, great.
Hopefully.
Well, you should take some pictures of them after you plant.
Yeah, but I'm currently working on West Main Park, the West Main parking lot
Yeah.
thing across from the Worcester parking lot thing, and I'll probably be planting some manuals in there within the next couple of weeks, and then I'll be doing more with the perennials around the base of the Forsythia probably in the next week or so.
Great.
So there'll be more things to take pictures of. And the red and white tulips at the Moody's end of the 220 traffic
Yeah.
island, just about ready to pop.
Oh,
Oh,
good.
So,
nice.
and the story behind those is that Marilyn, oh my God, I can't remember her last name, but Marilyn is like the oldest member of the garden club and past president, and driving force behind the garden club. And those tulips we got specifically for her, they're called Marilyn.
Oh, cool.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
there's a little story there.
Yeah, that's a nice story. Yeah, that's the kind of things I'm looking for. That there's heirloom trees in the area, or things like. I was gonna walk up to Madomic Valley High School because they have that nice trail, and they have a couple beautiful heirloom trees, and
Yeah.
just things that kind of tie in preservation and history into the Facebook
Oh,
page.
and the new magnolia at the town landing, Pine Street Landing, is just about ready to pop.
Oh, great.
It's showing.
I can take a
color now.
cruise
The
up there.
Blooms are like this,
Hmm.
So we've got through the rain tomorrow and a few sunny days, you know,
It'll be
around
open.
60, and we should start seeing that.
Okay.
I saw your quince bloomed early. Mine are just blooming now.
Really? Wow.
Mine haven't quite bloomed. I'm on Old Route 1.
Yeah,
Yes.
I used to be able to set my watch by our pink quince and the double bloodroot out back by the rock wall behind the house, blooming right middle of May, just right about my birthday. And they're both in full bloom right now.
Wow.
Everything's early this year.
That's how far ahead we are.
Crazy. All right.
Our catalpa may even be, people, yeah, I don't know if you're familiar with catalpa trees, but they're still, they still aren't even showing any color, and they usually don't bud out and start leafing out until like June. I'm wondering, and you know, people will come up and admire our gardens there and go, is that tree dead? You know, middle of May, it's like, no, it's just still sleeping. But that I'd be interesting to see if that comes out early this year too.
Yeah, it's been crazy. All right, well, I guess we'll keep in touch by emails,
Yeah.
even though I read my email every 5 days or so. So don't, if you need to get hold of me on an immediate basis, you need to call.
Okay.
Oh,
But
and
anything else,
whenever you're ready to start doing stuff with trails, my shoulder's all good now, so.
Oh, so I was telling you before you guys got here, I am doing a surgery on Thursday. I have
Oh.
a surgery, having a surgery. And I'm gonna be down for a month. No
Wow.
lifting, no bending. So I won't be able to contribute much for trail work
Okay.
for May. So library book repair is gonna get all my attention.
I'll do a little. I find that now that I'm doing some gardening, I'm not as stiff because I'm actually forcing myself to get out and
Yeah,
shovel mulch and actually weed and bend over a lot.
Yeah.
So I'm not as stiff as I was.
that's
I've
good.
already taken off about 8 pounds of my winter weight, so,
It's funny how that works.
yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Gardening is actually a lot of manual labor, isn't it?
Well, yeah, it's a lot of, in the end, it's also a lot of walking around.
Hmm.
You know, if you got one of your, what are those things you count your steps with?
Oh, yeah,
Fitbit.
pedometer.
Yeah, Fitbit. Yeah, you get a lot of steps in when you're gardening. Because, especially when you're older, because you'll get everything set and you'll go out to where you're gonna work and you'll get there and
Forget
go,
something.
I forgot that in the garage. And you have to make 2 or 3 trips just to get everything together.
Okay, so we'll adjourn this meeting and we'll meet again next month. It's actually June 1st is the first Tuesday of the month.
Wow. Okay.
So that will be exciting. And if we could get us the minutes before our next meeting, we can review them and vote on them all.
Technically, I did send them out. before
I
this
know.
meeting.
Just like I get the agenda out before the meeting. We're supposed to get it out a week before. So I'd been good until now.
I will try to do so. Fortunately, elections aren't as hectic this year, so I don't think
That's right.
I don't think I'm gonna be responsible for dealing with all that.
Yeah, that was a hectic last year.
Yeah.